Good morning everyone, welcome back to maths on this Wednesday morning. We are carrying on with time again today, but we are looking at quarter past with our minute hands. So for this lesson you will need your hour clock with your hour hand and your minute clock with your minute hand. If you can grab your resources and we will go through some examples together. So last week we were looking at quarter past with our hour hand. So looking at this line of numbers, we can see that the hour hand is 1/4 of the way past the 2. It isn't directly halfway between the 2 and the 3, it is 1/4 of the way past the 2. I'm going to zoom in to these two numbers now so you can see this in more detail. So here it is zoomed in. You can see that the coloured in hour hand is 1/4 of the way past the 2. It isn't directly halfway between the 2 or the 3, it is 1/4 of the way past. So we say quarter past. So here the time is 2:15. So looking at this clock, see if you can work out the time. The hour hand is 1/4 of the way past the 4. It isn't directly halfway between the 4 and the 5, it is 1/4 of the way past. So we say quarter past. Here the time is 4:15. Have a look at these two clocks and see if you can work out the time. So the hour hand is 1/4 of the way past the 1. It isn't directly halfway between the 1 and the 2, it is just 1/4 of the way past. If you check the minute hand has done 1/4 of a turn clockwise. So we know the time must be 1:15. Okay, have a look at these two clocks and see if you can work out the time. So the hour hand is 1/4 of the way past the 6. It isn't directly halfway between the 6 and the 7, it is 1/4 of the way past. If you look at the minute clock, the minute hand has gone 1/4 of the way around the clock clockwise. So we know the time is 6:15. Knowing that the time is 6:15, see if you can work out what the time will be 1/4 of an hour later. So our minute hand was at 1/4, but it needs to do 1/4 of a turn clockwise for 1/4 of an hour later. So it is done its 1/4 turn and is now sitting directly at the bottom of the clock. Therefore, the time must be in half past time. So now if we look at our clocks here, we can see that the hour hand is directly halfway between the 6 and the 7, and the minute hand is pointing directly to the bottom of the clock. So it is 6:30. So 1/4 of an hour later, from 6:15, is now 6:30. Here are what your worksheets will look like today. The what is we are learning to identify quarter past using the minute hand. I want you all to start with bronze and work your way through at your own pace. For bronze, you need to look at both of the clocks and identify what the time is. For silver, you are drawing in the hands to show 1/4 past time. There are also two questions where you need to work out what the time would be 1/4 of an hour later and 1/4 of an hour earlier. For gold, you have worded problems where again you need to find out the time later or earlier. For question 1, you need to work out the time 1/4 of an hour later. For question 2, you are working out the time 3/4 of an hour later. And the challenge question at the bottom is for you to work out the time 2 hours later.